Okay, we are back with the Dissatisfied podcast, and I have Monica with me today. She's going to share some of her story.
I guess I'm continuing on into the part 2 of transfer of pain.
Yes, suicide and the transfer of pain. So last week I had mentioned, when I was telling some of my story, I had mentioned that when it was time to call Monica, I didn't want to do that because she was by herself, states away, and I felt bad if I were going to tell her that our dad was dead and she would be by herself.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So I ended up calling one of her friends, Dana. I had his number somehow. I don't even know why I had his number in my little phone book, but I had his number and told him, and then you can share from there.
Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, it was a Saturday, correct?
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
Yeah. So more than likely the night before was a party night, as every night was when I was out there. I was sleeping. I don't even remember the time of day, but there was a knock on my door, and I actually had to get up out of bed, put some clothes on, go to the door, look out the people, and it's two of my friends out there in Colorado, Dana and Lori. And I'm like, well, what are they doing? Are they coming here to, smoke me up? Because we were always smoking. So I opened the door and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And basically straight and to the point, Lori looked right at me and she goes, there's no easy way to say this. Your dad committed suicide. Boom. Just, you're like, ripped the Band-Aid off, kind of how she said it, which there's no other way that needs to be done. It needs to be done like that to everyone.
Yes.
You cannot beat around the bush.
And last week I shared that when I found out, I had a 12 to 15 minute car ride with our uncle where I kept asking him, is my dad dead? Is my dad dead? And he was just silent the whole way.
That's the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
So always tell them. It's not going to be easy, but always tell right out of the gate. After those words came out of her mouth, my entire body collapsed, just like you see in movies. And you sometimes think, boy, they're really overacting this one here, can't be that bad. Oh, it is. You leave your body. Like, I had no control. I collapsed to my knees. I was a blubbering mess, literally snot, tears. Like I was losing all function of my body. I don't remember who picked me up, but I remember going back to the bedroom and like just shaking my head and just screaming and crying. And then I came back out and I started to try and make phone calls to get a hold of people. And I was able to get a hold of my grandma, and she's the one who said, there'll be a plane ticket waiting for you.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a hurry up and go wait kind of a thing.
And back then it was just, you couldn't get a hold of anybody because everybody was probably driving to our house,
Nobody had cell phones.
Nobody had cell phones, so everything was a landline. So if somebody wasn't home, you didn't get a hold of them.
So I just packed I don't even know if I packed, in all honesty. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I do remember that Dana, I collected rust trolls at the time. And my friend Dana had with him kind of a bigger sized rust troll that said Lifesaver on it. And he handed it to me and he was like, this is for you for the plane ride. I'm like, cool. Because they knew how much I hated flying. Anyway, flew back. Friends of the family picked me up at the Springfield airport. And then quite frankly, everything is a blur.
Yeah, there's a lot that's a blur for me too.
From that point on when we got there. So I can't go into any more detail really about my arrival back into my hometown. I don't remember much.
Well, I do know that for days on end, our house was just packed with people. Like a lot of our friends, family were just out there.
Well, because we have good friends and
good family.
And family. Yeah.
And also I'm thankful for that because, you have to know our family to know that there's a dark side of humor that we have. Some dark
black
humor
for sure. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I don't know that any of us would have survived.
I agree. I mean, and we tell this story to people sometimes, and I'm not going to tell it right now, but we laugh amongst each other. Like, how did we joke like that 2 days later.
Yeah.
And we just laugh about
but
it.
it literally, it's like a form of rescue,
Yeah, it is.
the black humor.
And also it's a way people sometimes deal with grief.
Oh, it's a coping mechanism for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not the only ones.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't really have much of a memory from
I got
that.
nothing. I don't remember much. I don't remember if I immediately went after the funeral and stuff. I don't remember if I went back to Colorado or not. I think I stayed and had to go through all the legalities of things, and then made a decision to go back out to Colorado to pack up all my stuff and move back, but not to the house in Jayville, but to Peoria. And I only had 4 months left to graduate with a degree, and I went to Colorado Institute of Art for Music and Video Business. Back in the day, I wanted to direct videos for like MTV.
Yeah.
Or even get an internship at one of the local TV stations back in the day.
And you were on your way to do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But as I said, I said this off mic, but your path becomes non-existent anymore. You don't see it anymore when things like this happen.
Well, it's similar. It's similar to what I shared about Rich.
Yeah,
how
you don't
here he was on his way to doing what he knew he wanted to do, his dream, things he wanted to do since he was 7 years old, and Dad's suicide threw that in the garbage, basically.
Well, yeah, we said at the beginning, the suicide and the transfer of pain. Well, we all had that transfer of pain hit us in different ways, of course. And my path, again, just fell out from under my feet. Like it wasn't even a consideration that I was going to finish. I had to be back by closer to family. Like there was just no second guessing it.
Well, yeah, because when you're going through that level of grief, you don't want to be going through that by yourself, states away from your family.
Oh, for sure.
So you get back here and you decide to live in Peoria because that's where Mom was at the time.
Correct.
And how long were you here before you decided you might need to go back to Colorado?
So I think, and again, my whole brain's a little foggy on time, but I want to say it was late 1994, November or December, when I actually was here. And I started experiencing horrible dreams, trying to figure out, I don't know what I was going to do, all this stuff. Ended up having like a mental breakdown. Went and got on antidepressant. But after about 3 weeks on it, realized I hated not feeling anything. Like I didn't laugh, I didn't cry. It was literally straight lined feelings.
And I remember you telling me that. You were like, I feel nothing.
I felt my whole thing back in the day was it was a walking lobotomy. That's how I felt. So I actually weaned myself off of it. Haven't been on an antidepressant since. This was early 95. So I'm going to guess spring of 95 is when I was like, I got to get back out there. I got to get my feet running again and get back out there and do what I want to do. And of course I had a contact, and I contacted her and I was able to say, hey, can I come out, stay for a couple of weeks? This was the first go. Stay for a couple of weeks and put in job applications, all this stuff. So I went out to my friends, and unfortunately, her drug habit had kicked back in, and I witnessed and smelled heroin, watched her do it, and I ended up packing my car back up and driving back.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was the very first one.
Okay.
And then when I got back, I landed that bartending job at the woodcutter in Dunlap. Yep. And that's where I met this other guy at that bar. And we hung out and we're, I don't know, chilling and all this stuff and, I don't know, having a good time. And I still desired to go back out to Colorado. It just felt right out there to me still. So I'm going to guess late 95. And did it happen that quick? I'm having a weird moment with my brain. I don't remember.
It doesn't really matter. Like not too long after you had gotten back.
Correct. I decided, me and this guy decided we were going to go back out there again, and I was going to look for jobs and he was going to look for a job. And so we went back out to stay with that friend again.
Time out. Were you dating this guy?
No.
Okay, so you were just friends and he decided, oh yeah, Colorado sounds great. I'm going to move with you.
Correct. So we kind of loaded up the car with what we could, and my friend, she had actually, I don't know, cleaned her act up as she had before. She was actually living in a different place, a really cool place, actually. I remember it was like this little high-rise place right towards downtown. She had a really cool apartment with these huge windows. Anyway, we drove straight through. I should say I drove straight through, and we get there, and of course, nothing but drinking, smoking, partying already. And I don't know, probably 3-4 hours of that. Next thing I know, I'm by myself in the kitchen. I'm like, where did everybody go? And
by everybody, you mean
her and him.
The two people.
Two people. And so I was like, I had to go to the bathroom. So I go down the hallway to the bathroom, and from her bedroom, I just hear sex noises. And I'm like, ew. Grossed me out entirely. So I just gathered my things and got in my car and drove back.
So you had not been there for even 24 hours.
Not even. No.
And this quote unquote friend.
Correct.
That came out there with you and your other friend.
Yeah.
That was there. Decided to just get it on.
Getting it on till the break of dawn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it disgusted me. So I was like, well, I'm going to let those two be disgusting. And at the same time, my, what's the word I want? Imbalanced brain was like, oh my gosh, this is a terrible thing. And as I'm driving back, I keep telling myself I'm going to drive myself off of a bridge. I'm like, well, probably shouldn't do that. So I ended up getting a hotel room.
But like this wasn't just a one-time thought. Like you kept thinking,
oh gosh.
As you were driving, I'm just going to drive off a bridge.
Yeah. Anytime a bridge came up, I'm like, it'd be so easy. It'd be so easy. Never thought about stuff like that before, obviously. It was one of those things where you're just like, oh. So got a hotel room, probably 5 hours. For 5 hours. Got back in the car and got back and have been here ever since.
Yep. That's a crazy story. Honestly, that's just nuts.
It was a crazy time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing, and we've talked about this before, is it's not like you lived a perfect life. So you had like trouble and friendships and other relationships. You had been through weird stuff like that before, maybe not to that extent, but you had never had a thought of suicide.
No.
So I don't think that's a coincidence that here we have our dad who killed himself. And now all of a sudden, when stressful, challenging things happen, now all of a sudden we tend to struggle with, oh, we just might as well die.
Oh yeah. The thought, like, did I ever think of driving myself off of a bridge? No.
Right.
And now I do for this 13-hour ride back.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally did.
Yeah. And that's because
I'm glad I slept on it.
I am too. Glad you're here with us today, Monica.
Jeez.
So it's not just a transfer of pain. There's a transfer of that spirit because it's a spirit.
What do you call it? It's a chain. We're bound. It seems like we're bound.
Well,
but you got to break it.
Yeah, you do. And we have the power and authority in Christ to break those strongholds or those demonic things that come against us.
Agreed.
But it's just, the Bible talks about familiar spirits. And I don't believe in curses. Like you'll hear a lot of Christians say, well, you got to break the curse. Well, no, Jesus broke the curse at the cross.
Correct.
He did that for us.
I believe that.
But, it doesn't take a whole lot of investigating to look at your family line and kind of pick out what are things that are in my family line that are either like sin or struggles or addictions. Everybody has something.
Yeah.
And it might not be something physical, but it could be like, is there arrogance? Is there pride? Is there, manipulation, control? Is there alcoholism? Is there adultery? It goes on and on and on. You can find it. And I believe that the Bible gives us a clue that there's things called familiar spirits that will follow families around. And until somebody recognizes, oh, wait a second, this is in the spirit, this is a spiritual battle, I'm going to come against it and cut this off, it'll just continue.
Yeah. Ours just happened to be suicide, and it took out the dudes.
It did. It took out the guys. I talked about that too in the last episode, how the statistic is that 80%, I think it was over 49,000 people killed themselves in the United States in 2023. And 80% of that number are men.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, there's a war on men. Why? Because God calls men to be the leaders in everything, in every area. They're supposed to be leading strongly.
Okay.
So that was just my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about Rich. So tell the story about when you lived with him for a short period. Was this before he went to California, or
was he before?
Okay, so before Rich moved to California.
I think my timeline is all messed up.
Yeah,
I just know it was
right.
the late 90s.
Yeah, it was like maybe 98 or 99, something like that.
Yeah.
So he came to Peoria and you guys lived together for a little bit.
Yeah, in the duplex. So it was a 2-bedroom duplex, and Rich moved in. So not only am I still dealing with my demons and weird thoughts, but now I got my brother in my space. So it was all about drinking and pitas. Pita sandwiches. Like, he would be at the stove cooking up chicken and green peppers and onions and all this and shoving it in a pita and like, eat this, you got to eat this. And then he'd crack open a beer and be like, you want one? So there's his dichotomy, right? His two sides of, hey, I'm super healthy, let's get drunk.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But I vaguely recall, again, my brain and for my memories is, maybe I've squashed them down so far that I don't remember anything. But I do remember this, and I don't remember why we got in a huge fight. But the huge fight ended up outside the front door in the front yard with he and I so close. Our faces were so close that spittle and breath from the mouth, and we almost touched our noses. That's how close we were screaming at each other. And Mom lived across the way at the time, and she comes hauling butt out of that front door and got right in between us and pushed us away. And we're telling everybody to F you and F this and blah, 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 blah. And he drives away. I go back in the duplex. I don't remember what we were fighting over.
It had something to do with his Jeep.
His Jeep topper, probably.
Yes, something like that.
But he drove away. And I'm not kidding you that it had to be about 2 hours later. He came back to the house and he's like, you want to go get a beer?
Yeah. That was his way of apologizing.
Yeah. You want to go get a beer? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Rich was always intense. Even as a kid, he was always intense.
He lifted his truck.
Oh, yeah. That's right. When Rich was like 16, he got a new truck.
This cute. It was a little 4x4 white. It was nice.
Yeah.
Nice truck.
It was a really good looking truck.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, the first or second day he had it.
Yeah.
He left the house, and I don't know, 10 minutes later, if that, he comes bursting in the front door, out of breath. Like, you can tell the adrenaline's just pumping. And we were like, what's going on? And he's like, I wrecked the truck. And it was on its side, but he flipped it back over upright.
Oh, man. Yeah, he was intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he wrecked every car he had.
He did. Did he wreck that Jeep?
He wrecked everything. He got in wrecks all the time.
I remember the Blazer. Were you in the Blazer the time I took the right off of Massey Lane by the thing that would take us by whatever road that is that would take you by the graveyard?
Yeah.
And I was in the Blazer, thank goodness, and there had been snow and ice, and I just casually made the right turn, but it just kept going right into a ditch.
Fun times.
Yeah. The grill had all the dirt and grass and things in it. And when I got home, I didn't say anything. And Dad was like, what's going on?
I think we all put our cars in the ditch at
Oh,
some point,
geez.
living in the country.
Yeah. So
But
anyway, it was very short-lived that Rich and I lived together. Thank God. I just think it's always funny that I literally have a visual of him at the stove, always making these pita
and trying to make you eat them.
Sandwich things all the time.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And it's so true. He was very into health, working out, being strong, but then let's throw down a 6-pack.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
Throw some shots in there too.
Yeah. There was one time, and I think I've told you this story. He didn't make me, but he really talked me into going with him to Chicago to this, I don't know, some sort of event for working out or whatever.
Okay.
And so I went with him, and on our ride back, I mean, it's Chicago traffic, and we are stuck in traffic for hours. It's just gridlocked. And I hated it because Rich would play like Korn.
No, System of a Down.
Okay, System of a Down.
At the time. He was really into System of a Down.
Yeah, just like the heavy metal, like even beyond that. I don't even know what you'd call it. I would call it demon music at this
Scream
point.
metal kind of like.
I hated it. So I'm trapped in the car with him listening to this music for hours. And I told him, I was like, Rich, this is giving me a headache. And it literally was. He goes, there's no freaking way music can give somebody a headache. And then a little bit later, he was like, dang, I'm hungry. He said, dang, I'm hungry. And he's looking in his car for something. He's like, oh, he grabs this protein packet, powder. It's a powder. He grabs it. He's like, I'm hungry. He dumps it in his mouth. And it just turns to cement in his teeth. He's like, oh my gosh, I need water. I don't even know if we had any water. But that was the day I was like, I will never go anywhere with him again in his car alone.
Oh, that's a great story. I can just see him getting all just elevated and irate how hungry he was, and you can't get a headache from music.
He was so adamant.
And it turns to concrete in his mouth.
I was so tempted so many times just to open the door and get out and just be like, I'm walking home.
Oh my gosh. That's how intense he could be.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
Good memories. But we had good times.
I don't know. There's times when I was like, is he really nice or is he just really mean? I can't figure it out.
No, but we've talked about this before, that people who struggle with like ups and downs, mental stuff, mental health stuff, the real them is the one that wants to be kind, that wants to be healthy, that wants to get along with people.
That. Yeah.
And, the one that's the, I don't know, the one that's the struggling one, that's the one that's not really them.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand about Dad. You saw that more than I did because I was out in Colorado. So.
Yeah. Well, and I always have said this about Dad. His was very circumstantial. Had he been able to just get through that time, get through that dark point in his life, he could have come out the other side.
Did you throw out any statistics on divorce rates and suicide deaths from men at all?
No, I didn't even
look
those
They're out
up.
there, guys, and I say look them up because it's astronomical.
Well, I think breakups in general, not even divorces, but breakups, even like teenage suicide. A lot of teenage suicide is because they break up. That's why it's like, you know what? Young teenagers don't need to be dating. Sorry, they just don't.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain, and I can't put a nail into this, but I'm fairly certain that that's why I have chosen to remain single and not get involved with anybody that I've ever been quote unquote friends with. Because I don't want that, what do you call it? A familiar...
Well, I think it's not like you've had great examples of what marriage
but I'm
is.
just saying I can't. Yeah, there's no way. I wouldn't put myself through that mentally. There's no way. Plus, drama is so overrated. I'm not going to have it.
Yeah, it is.
I can't. I already have enough of it with my own self.
Exactly.
I can't have somebody else's drama.
Can you
on
imagine
top of it.
somebody being married to you?
Oh no, no, actually, and vice versa.
Well, you're tainted. Is that the right word? Is tainted the word? It is.
It is. Jaded.
But
tainted sounds so weird. Because we all know what a taint is.
Let's say jaded.
You're jaded. Tainted. I'm scarred.
You're jaded. Also, it doesn't help that, I talked about this a little bit too in the first podcast, is that our mom and dad were married for pretty much 24 years.
They were coming up on the 25th wedding anniversary.
Yeah. And they got divorced. And even though we were older, we were late teens, early 20s, that was devastating. And, you know, it's kind of hard to think, well, dang, if people can be married that long and still end up divorced, what's the point? I personally don't feel that way, but the reality is marriage is hard. Life is hard.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Life is not easy. But
back to Rich. I wanted to ask you a couple questions about this because I could see it, you know, those last 2-3 years of his life, I could see him kind of spiraling. And I saw it with my own eyes, but a lot of it I knew because of his wife. You know, she would fill us in on what was going on and some stuff.
She would fill you in. I was in the dark.
Yeah. But I would see it in him too when we would hang out, or, you know, there was a couple of incidences that I saw some behavior from him that I was like, oh, this isn't good. Do you remember that?
I just, not as much as you. I remember going to pick his firstborn up from
probably
first grade, kindergarten, first grade. And I was with him to pick her up. And he got out of the car, and as he got out of the car, an empty wine bottle fell out. And right there, I mean, we drank, you know, back in the day, but an empty wine bottle in his car, it fell out as he got out. And in my head, I said nothing. But in my head, I was like, oh, whoa, it's way worse than I thought it was.
Yeah, because the last couple of years before he died, he definitely had a major alcohol problem.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, people that are imbalanced feel that alcohol numbs, or any sort of
substance,
yeah, be it drugs or alcohol, numbs your feelings, right? So he just was pouring it on.
Yeah.
I do remember that when he opened the door and I hear clink, clink, and I'm like, what on earth? And I see it roll, and it's like a red wine bottle.
I had that happen when I drove. Well, actually, he drove. I did get in the car with him again, but only to Springfield. It was when Karis's dad was in the hospital in Springfield. And Rich and I drove down. He drove. We pull in the parking lot. He parks. A wine bottle rolls out from underneath his chair, underneath his seat. He grabs it, chugs the rest of it as we're walking into the hospital, and tosses it in the garbage. And I'm walking behind him, and in my mind, I was like, yeah, I think this is probably an issue.
Yeah. Didn't we, when we went to see Uncle Jimmy, all three of us went?
Yeah.
Who drove then? You?
I think I did, yeah.
But we drank. I think we drank on the way there. Didn't we?
I didn't.
Maybe I was already drunk. I don't remember.
I was the good middle child, Monica.
That's right. No, that's right. I was closing bars when I was 16 years old in my hometown where everybody knew me. So that makes sense.
That's another story for another day.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But anyway, anything else you want to share about Rich?
No, just I miss him and I love him and I wish he hadn't have done what he did. Same with my dad. But
yeah,
you know, what are you going to do?
Yep.
It's the year 2026 and we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
So.
Dad's been gone 30 something years. Rich has been gone. This year it'll be 10 years in December.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is. Time
it
is
feels
weird.
like yesterday sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
It does not feel like 10 years.
Nope. With Rich, it definitely feels like it was just not too long ago.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So with Rich, you know, the thing is, towards the end especially, he had a lot of ups and downs and some stuff that wasn't really pretty to watch him go through. But I believe he was a good man. That's who he really was. And we had a lot of fun times with him. I could list a ton of memories, but one memory, we call it snow penis, because it literally was. It was, I don't know, Brennan was maybe two or three. It was Christmas time. We were out at my mom's and it had
snowed a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
We probably had like 6 or 7 inches, if not
easily.
More. And we all were outside playing in the snow, went back inside, having hot chocolate.
Yeah.
You know, opened gifts, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden people noticed, like, where's Rich? Where did he go?
I remember saying, like, hey, anybody seen Rich?
Yeah. We're kind of looking for him. And then a few minutes later, the door to the deck opens up and he's like, hey guys. We're like, oh, where'd you go? He's like, come look what I did. And we go and we look, and he had built a snow penis on the deck.
He sculpted out of snow a penis, a snow penis.
I have a picture of it. If any of his friends are listening and you would like to see a picture of the snow penis, you just call me.
That's right.
And we'll send you a picture of it.
Yep.
He had some talent.
He had he had some talent. I love that. That's what he chose to do.
Right.
Love that.
That's how he spent his Christmas Eve.
Right. Because he knew it would crack us all up, though, too.
It was hilarious.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do. We missed him.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a big hole left in your life when somebody you love, especially a sibling or a parent, leaves this earth. So
that's right. And regardless of how they leave it, loss, it's tough.
Yes,
I mean, suicide's insane. You got to keep on trucking.
Got to keep on trucking. God is, the Bible says he's a good father, and no matter what we go through, that remains true. So he is the one we can always lean on. He is the one we can always go to and talk to, and he will show up. He'll sustain you. He'll give you exactly what you need in the tough moments. And again, I just want to say that there's a number that you can call if you or somebody you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts. You can call 988, and that will connect you with somebody that you can talk to.
Yes.
So thanks again for listening. I hope you tune in next week.
Thank you.